The sky above was dark and full of dust. The wind was dry and sharp, blowing over the lifeless rocks. Captain Jaren moved slowly across the surface of the abandoned planet. He had been to many dead worlds before, but this one felt different. It was too quiet. His boots crunched softly on the dry ground as he scanned for any signs of metal, fuel, or old tech, anything he could sell. Just another salvage run. Just another paycheck. But then he saw her. At first, he thought it was a dead animal. But as he walked closer, he stopped. It was a person. No, not a human, a creature. Lying on the cold ground, shaking, barely moving, she was thin, too thin. Her skin was pale gray, stretched tightly over her bones. Her eyes were half open, dry. And dull. She looked broken, forgotten, like she had been dying there for a long time. Jaren knelt down beside her. He looked around. No other life, no other ships. Just her, alone. He pulled out his scanner. Life signs. Weak, but still there. She's alive? He whispered. The girl made a small noise. A soft breath, a tremble. Jaren looked at her closely. She had a human-shaped 2 arms, 2 legs, a face. But something about her was not human. Her fingers were long, her eyes slightly too large. Her body was wrapped in some kind of ripped cloth. Like it had once been part of a suit. She was starving, dying, but her eyes, those strange, silver eyes, looked at him like she knew something. Like she had been waiting. Jaren hesitated. The rules were clear. No alien contact, no rescue. But he was alone out here. No one was watching. He sighed. Damn it. He took out a small water pot and placed it near her lips. At first, she didn't respond. Then slowly she drank. Her hands trembled as she touched the water like it was the first time in years. Easy, he said. You're safe now. He picked her up gently. She was light as air, like a skeleton covered in skin. She didn't speak, but her head rested. Against his shoulder, Jaren carried her back to his ship. It wasn't much, just an old cargo hauler with a decent med bay. As the doors hissed closed behind him, he placed her on the med bed and started the auto-heal process. Lights blinked. Machines whirred. The screen showed her condition, critical, but stable. He sat back and looked at her. What are you? He whispered. Hours passed. She slept, her breathing shallow but steady. Jaren stayed nearby, checking the systems, eating a cold meal. But his eyes kept going back to her. There was something strange about the way her body reacted to the healing pod. She was recovering faster than a normal human. Her skin was already starting to look smoother, less dry. Her heartbeat was growing. Stronger. He looked at her face again. Beautiful. In a strange, alien way, suddenly her eyes opened. Wide and silver, Jaren stood up quickly. You're awake? She didn't answer, just stared at him, not with fear, not with anger. Just curiosity. He raised his hand slowly. I'm not going to hurt you. She blinked once. Then her eyes slowly moved around the room, taking in everything, the lights, the screens, the ceiling. Then back to him. Jaren took a step closer. Do you understand me? Still, she said nothing. He sighed. Right, you probably don't speak English. But she kept looking at him, not like she didn't understand. More like she didn't know if she could trust him. Jaren sat down beside the med bed. Look, I don't know what happened to you out there, or who left you behind. But I'm not going to leave you, not again. The girl slowly turned her head to look at him fully. Her eyes softened, then, very faintly, her lips moved. One word. A whisper. Why? Jaren's eyes widened. He leaned in. What did you say? She looked away, exhausted. Jaren stood up, both shaken and curious. Who are you? He whispered. What were you doing out there? But the girl didn't answer. She closed her eyes and her breathing slowed again. Jaren watched her silently for a long time. Something deep in his gut told him this was no ordinary alien. Something was coming. Something he didn't understand, but for now, she was just a girl alone, hurt and dying, and he had saved her. That was the moment everything changed. The ship floated silently through deep space, far from any known colony or patrol route. Inside, Jaren sat at the edge of his bunk, staring at the med-room monitor. She was still sleeping. It had been almost 2 days since he found her. He had given her a name just for now. Ray, it felt right, short, soft, mysterious. Ray's condition had improved faster than he expected. Too fast. Her skin no longer looked dry or broken. It was now smooth, almost glowing. The bones in her face no longer stuck out. Her body had filled in slightly. Not completely, she was still thin, but no longer dying. Jaren rubbed his jaw. No human heals like that, not even with medtech. He walked into the med room. The lights dimmed as the door closed behind him. Ray was lying on her side, her silver eyes half open, watching him quietly. You're awake again, he said gently. She nodded. Jaren stepped closer. Do you understand me now? She blinked slowly, then sat up. Her movements were fluid, careful. Her eyes never left his. I learned fast, she said. Her voice was soft, like wind across glass. Jaren's heart skipped. You speak English? She tilted her head slightly. I hear you. I copy. It becomes mine. That answer made him uncomfortable. Not because of her words, but the way she said them. Calm, perfect, almost human. You copy language? He asked. Yes. Simply, your voice, your words, now I use them. Jaren leaned against the wall, unsure whether to be amazed or afraid. You're not just healing, you're evolving. Rhea looked down at her hands, slowly flexing her fingers. This body changes. It remembers what it needs. That's not normal, Jaren muttered. She looked up sharply. I am not normal. There was silence for a moment. The soft hum of the ship's engines was the only sound between them. Jaren tried again. Where are you from? Ray shook her head. Gone, all gone. What do you mean, a planet? No planet, she said, her voice heavy. No home, only escape. Jaren sat across from her. Escape from what? She hesitated. Then whispered. Hunters. A chill ran down Jaren's spine. Someone was hunting you? Yes, my kind. We change, so they fear. They take us, lock us, use us. He frowned. Who are they? Ray's face tightened. Not yet. You're not ready. Ready for what? Another silence. Then suddenly she stood. Jaren moved back a step. Hey, take it easy. You're still recovering. But Ray was steady on her feet. Her posture was stronger now. Her movements no longer looked weak. They were graceful. Controlled, she walked slowly to the mirror on the medbay wall and looked at herself. Jaren watched as she touched her. Reflection. Her eyes studied her own face as if it was unfamiliar. This body, she said softly, was dying. Now, it becomes something else. What do you mean? Jaren asked as she turned to him. You saved me. That changed me. He felt a strange knot form in his chest. Why me? Ree looked at him with a strange intensity. You showed me kindness. That has power. Then, without warning, the lights flickered. Jaren turned to the control panel. Power flux? That's not good. Ray didn't move. Her expression didn't change, but the flickering stopped as quickly as it started. Jaren looked at her. Was that you? I am part of the ship now, she said calmly. I feel its bones. I hear its breath. That's not possible, he said, but deep down, he wasn't sure anymore. She stepped closer to him. Not threatening, but confident. I learn, I grow, and you are my anchor. He looked at her closely. Her face had changed again subtly. Her features were becoming more attractive, too perfect. Her skin now had a soft glow, her eyes deep and shining. She didn't just mimic language, she was adapting to beauty itself. What are you turning into? He whispered. Ray tilted her head. What you see is what you desire? That is how I survive? Jaren took a step back. That's dangerous. Yes, she said, but I will not harm you. He shook his head. This is moving too fast. You can't just become someone else. She stepped even closer, now only inches from him. I become what I must. But for now, I choose to stay like this. For you, Jaren's mouth was dry. His heart was racing. The medbay door opened with a soft hiss. I need air, he muttered, brushing past her and stepping into the corridor. Behind him, Ray stood silently. She stared at the door for a long time, then, softly, almost to herself, she whispered, "He does not know what I am." Not yet. Jaren couldn't sleep. It wasn't the usual kind of insomnia. He'd survived months alone on frozen moons, deep asteroid mines, even inside broken warships, but this was different. Something about Ray made his thoughts heavy. Made his skin feel like it didn't belong to him anymore. He sat in the cockpit, sipping cold coffee, eyes fixed on the black ocean of space. Stars drifted past, silent, peaceful, but peace was not what he felt. Behind him, the ship hummed softly. Every few minutes, a light would flicker. A screen would blink without warning. Strange readings showed up in the system logs, energy surges, heat spikes, strange electromagnetic pulses. He had blamed the ship's aging systems at first, but deep down, he knew it was her. Since the day Ray woke up, things had changed. Not just the ship, her. She was no longer thin and fragile. Her body had grown stronger. Her skin was no longer pale, but smooth and warm, like she had absorbed sunlight from somewhere, and her face, it was now beautiful, almost unreal. Like, someone had taken parts of his memories, his dreams, and shaped them into a living form. She was evolving, fast. Too fast. Earlier that day, he had walked into the med bay to check on her. She was standing in front of the mirror again, her eyes locked on her reflection. Her movements were calm, elegant. She turned to him with a slight smile. Not forced, natural, but it didn't feel right. "You've changed again," he had said, trying to sound casual. "I'm learning," she replied softly. "Learning from who?" She stepped closer. "From you." He tried to hide his discomfort. "You're copying me?" "No," she said. "I'm adapting. I become what makes you feel safe, what makes you stay." Those words hit something inside him. He didn't understand. They sounded gentle, but there was something dangerous under them. A trap hidden in kindness. Now, sitting in the dark cockpit, he looked at the internal camera feed. Camera 3. Hallway. Empty. Camera 5. Cargo hold. Still. Camera 2. Med bay. Ray, she was sitting on the floor, not moving. Her legs crossed, eyes closed, like she was meditating. But then her eyes opened suddenly and she stared straight into the camera. Jaren froze. There was no way she could know where the camera was. He had hidden it behind a vent panel. No blinking light. No sound, but Ray looked directly at it. She didn't smile. She didn't move. She just watched. Jaren quickly turned off the feed. His pulse raced. She wasn't just observing. She was aware. She knew the ship, knew its systems. Knew him? He walked back to his bunk, trying to calm down. He needed rest. Just an hour or two, he lay down, closed his eyes, and then he heard footsteps. Oft, bare feet, getting closer. The door slid open with a hiss. He sat up quickly and saw Ray standing in the doorway. She wore a simple gray suit from the ship's supply room. It clung to her figure like it was made for her. Her eyes were glowing faintly in the dark. "You couldn't sleep," she said, not a question, a fact. Jaren nodded slowly. "No, couldn't." She stepped inside, the door closing behind her. "You think I'm dangerous," she said, her voice flat. Jaren hesitated. I don't understand you." She walked to the corner of the room and sat on the floor, legs crossed. "That's fair," she said. "I don't fully understand myself yet." "What are you becoming?" he asked quietly. She tilted her head. "Something that survives," he frowned. "By becoming what people want?" She looked up at him. "Not want, need." Jaren ran a hand through his hair. "That sounds like manipulation," Ray nodded slowly. "Yes, but not for harm, only for safety." He looked at her for a long time. "Why me?" She blinked. "You were the first to touch me without fear. You gave water. You gave warmth. That changes something." Jaren didn't know what to say. Then Ray spoke again. "When I sleep, I dream of stars, but now I dream of you." That sent a strange chill down his spine. Was it affection, obsession, programming? Before he could respond, Ray stood up. "I will go now," she said gently. She walked to the door, but before leaving, she paused. "Sleep, Jaren. I'll watch." The door closed behind her. He sat there, breathing hard. Watch what? He whispered later. In the control room, Ray stood in the dark, alone. Monitors glowed faintly around her. Her hand hovered over one where Jaren's sleeping face appeared on screen. She didn't smile. She didn't blink. She just watched. Learning. Remembering. Changing. And deep inside her eyes, something was waking up. Something not human. Asterisk 3 days had passed since Ray began speaking fluently. 3 days since Jaren stopped sleeping well. He told himself it was just a long flight, just space sickness, just nerves, but deep down he knew the truth. Something was wrong. The ship, once quiet and predictable, now had moods. Doors opened before he touched them. Lights dimmed without command. Music played when he didn't ask. And always, Ray was watching. She didn't hide it anymore. She knew every system, every room, every noise. She moved like she belonged inside the ship, as if she was part of it now. And then the signal started. It began with a soft beep on the control console. A flashing symbol Jaren didn't recognize. He tapped the screen. No message. Just a repeating signal, slow, rhythmic, pulsing like a heartbeat. Ray, he called, voice uncertain. Are you doing this? She entered from the hallway, quiet and calm, wearing the same gray suit. Her silver eyes watched the screen. That's not me, she said softly. It's them. Jaren turned sharply. Them? She nodded. The ones who hunt. They're near. He stared at her. You told me they locked your kind up. Used you. Are they following you? They don't follow, Ray said. They track, from far. Always. Jaren felt his mouth go dry. Why now? Why show up after all this time? She looked at him with sadness. Because I'm healing. I'm active again. They smell it like blood? The signal pulsed again, stronger this time. Jaren backed away from the console. Can they find this ship? Yes, Ray said. But they won't attack yet? First they watch, then test. Jaren clenched his fists. I'm not ready for a fight. This isn't a battleship, it's barely holding together. Ree walked toward him. You saved me, I will protect you. Her voice was calm, but Jaren saw something deep in her eyes, a flicker of fear. She was scared, and if she was scared, he should be too. Hours passed. The signal didn't stop. Jaren tried jamming it, blocking it, even moving the ship away at max speed, but it followed. It's not a beacon, Ray explained. It's a test. They want to see how we react. Jaren slammed his fist on the console. Well, let's give them nothing. But the moment he said it, the lights flickered. The ship shook, hard, alarms screamed. He grabbed the side rail, shouting, What was that? Ree closed her eyes for a moment. They touched the hull fast, testing our skin. Jaren opened a sensor screen. I don't see anything. You won't, Ray said. They don't leave marks. Suddenly, the ship's emergency lights flashed red. A voice, his ship's AI, spoke softly. External breach, airlock 5. Jaren's heart pounded. That can't be right. That door was sealed? He ran toward the lower deck, Ray following silently behind when they reached the airlock. The door was still closed, but frost covered the metal, like it had been exposed to space. Jaren tapped the screen. No pressure loss, no warning before. They're watching, Ray whispered. They want me to panic. They think fear will make me easy to catch. Jaren stared at her. Why do they want you so badly? Ree looked away. I'm the last. She said, of my kind, the only one who escaped. He shook his head. There were more like you? Yes, many, born to adapt. Born to survive. That made us dangerous. She turned back to him. They fear what I can become. Back in the cockpit, the signal had changed. It wasn't pulsing anymore. It was speaking, not words, just a series of strange clicks and tones. But Ree understood it. Her face turned pale. They're giving me a choice, she said. Surrender. Or they take the ship apart, piece by piece. Jaren stood frozen. Can they really do that? They've done worse. He stared at the screen, then at her. So what do we do? She stepped forward, placing her hand on the console. I fight, Jaren blinked. Can you? She didn't answer with words. Instead, the ship's lights bent slightly. The air shifted. Screens changed on their own. Responding to her presence. She was connected. With her hand still on the console, she looked at him. But if I fight, I can't hide anymore. You'll see what I really am. Jaren paused, then slowly nodded. Then show me. Suddenly the ship shook again stronger. The hull groaned like it was being squeezed by a giant hand. Ray turned her eyes to the stars outside. Her pupils changed, becoming narrow slits. Her skin shimmered for a moment, showing traces of deep violet beneath the surface. I won't let them take you, she whispered. Jaren gripped the rail beside her. I didn't save you so I could lose this ship, Ray smiled. Then hold on. Outside, something large moved in the darkness, a shape silent, fast circled the ship like a predator. The real hunt had begun, and Ray was no longer hiding. The ship was under attack. Jaren had never heard sounds like this before, not from outside, not from space. There was no crashing, no explosions, just ... a low hum. Deep, constant, vibrating through every metal wall. It made his teeth ache. The lights flickered again, and the floor shook as if something huge was brushing against the hull. The enemy had arrived. Jaren sprinted to the cockpit. Ray was already there, standing in front of the main screen, her back to him. Her arms were slightly raised, her fingers moving like she was conducting invisible energy. The display showed nothing. No ships, no weapons, just a black screen with a tiny pulsing circle, but Jaren could feel them out there. Why aren't they firing? He asked, panting. They don't need to, Ray said calmly. They invade with pressure, fear. Weak ships break before the first shot. He stared at her. How do we fight something we can't see? We don't, she said. I do. Before he could reply, the ship shook again, harder this time. Sparks burst from a ceiling panel. One of the control monitors went black. Warning, the ship's AI said in a cold voice. Outer shield integrity dropping, hull stress at 89%. Jaren rushed to the controls, checking systems. At this rate, we'll rip apart in under 10 minutes. But Ray was still calm. She stepped forward, placing both hands on the console. Then I stopped them now, and then she began to change. Jaren froze as Ray's body shifted in front of him. Her skin shimmered like liquid metal. The soft human-like glow vanished, replaced by a darker, smoother texture, deep violet, edged with lines of glowing white energy, like veins full of light. Her eyes were no longer silver. They were black and endless, like twin galaxies spinning in the dark. Her voice, when she spoke, was not just one, it was layered. Multiple tones, old and deep, as if something ancient was speaking through her. I warned you. She said that I was not what I seemed. Jaren couldn't move, couldn't speak. He had saved this creature, shared food, spoken with her. And now she stood like a being from legend, half god, half machine, something built to survive the end of stars. Ray turned her gaze to him. But I remember, she said, softer now. You gave me water, that still matters. Then she raised her arms and the ship responded. Without touching a single button, Ray pulled power from the core. Lights blazed. Screens came back online. The humming outside twisted into a scream, and in the darkness of space, they finally appeared. A ship emerged from nothing. No engines. No fire, just silence. It wasn't shaped like any ship Jaren had ever seen. It was round, flat, smooth like a giant coin made of shadow. No lights, no windows. Only a circle of red symbols glowing along its edges. Hunter vessel, Ray said. Class, collector, what does it collect? Jaren asked, though he already knew. Us, she answered. The enemy ship began to glow. Red lines spread across its surface like cracks in glass. It was charging up something powerful. Move! The ship! Jaren shouted. No need, Ray replied. This is my space now. She closed her eyes. The stars around them shifted just slightly. A ripple in the dark. Then, to Jaren's shock, the hunter ship stuttered. It blinked in and out like a signal. Struggling to stay online. What are you doing to it? He asked. Ray opened her eyes. I'm rewriting the rules. From her hands, thin trails of glowing energy flowed into the console. Symbols appeared on the screens, foreign, beautiful, alive. Jaren couldn't read them, but he understood one thing. Rey was fighting with more than just power. She was fighting with code, with language. With reality itself, the hunter ship released a low hum, its weapon firing, but the beam never reached them. Instead, the space between the two ships cracked, folded, and swallowed the blast. Jaren's jaw dropped. "You bent space, I told you," Rey whispered. "I adapt." The enemy ship began to shift, trying to pull back, trying to escape, but Rey wouldn't let it. She stepped forward, her body glowing like a star being born. Her arms stretched, and the light from her hands reached out through the screen, through the stars into the enemy ship itself. The collector screamed. It didn't explode, it didn't shatter. It just, collapsed. Folded into itself. Gone. Erased. The silence returned. Jaren sank into the pilot's chair, his heart pounding. Rey stood quietly now, her glow fading slowly. Her form softened again, skin shifting back toward human, but not completely. She looked at him with tired eyes. "It's over." Jaren couldn't speak for a moment. Then finally he managed, "What are you?" She looked down at her hands, then back at him. "I'm a survivor," she said. "Built to be wanted, feared, hunted, but now—" She walked toward him. "Now I choose what I become." The danger had passed. The hunter ship was gone, erased from existence by Rey's power. Jaren had expected to feel relief. Instead, he felt something much stranger. He was afraid, not of the enemy, but of the person standing across from him. Rey, that she was no longer fragile. No longer a lost alien girl hiding in the shadows of a cargo ship. She was something more now, something beautiful, something dangerous. That night, Jaren sat alone in the mess hall, pushing cold food around his plate. The hum of the ship sounded different now, like a song he didn't know the words to. He could feel Rey's presence. Even when she wasn't in the room. It wasn't just in his head. She was part of the ship now, linked to every wire, every sensor, every lock. She didn't need to walk to find him. She already knew where he was. He stared at the doorway, expecting her to appear, and then she did. Soft steps, bare feet, dressed in something she clearly chose to make herself look harmless. A long, smooth robe, too human to be coincidence. Her skin glowed faintly. Her hair was darker now. Her face, too perfect. "You're avoiding me," she said, her voice calm. Jaren didn't look up. "I needed space." Rey walked closer, her eyes locked on him. "You're afraid of me." "I'm afraid of not knowing where this ends." She tilted her head. "You saved me. I protect you." "Isn't that enough?" Jaren sighed. "You're changing fast. It's not just your body. It's the way you speak, the way you look at me. You're trying to be something." Rey stepped beside him. "I'm becoming something." He turned to her slowly. "Something I want?" She leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "Isn't that what you need?" Jaren stood up and backed away. "That's manipulation." "No," Rey said, following him. "It's instinct." He frowned. "So you don't even know you're doing it?" She paused. "I do, now." Her voice had changed. Softer, warmer, more inviting. Jaren felt a chill. "Are you trying to seduce me?" Rey smiled, not wide. "Not fake, just enough. Would it work?" she asked. He stepped further back. "This isn't funny." "It's not a joke," Rey said. "It's survival." Her eyes met his, silver and endless. "My kind evolved to match what others desire. To look safe, to feel wanted, not because we love, but because it protects us." Jaren swallowed hard. "And me? Am I part of that too?" She took one slow step forward. "You're different," she said. "You didn't want anything from me. You gave me life, water, warmth, so I chose you." "Chose me for what?" "To be my anchor." Jaren shook his head, trying to stay calm. "Rey, this isn't about love. This is about control." She tilted her head. "You think I'm controlling you?" "I think you're learning too fast," he said. "And that scares me." Silence filled the room. Then Rey sat down slowly at the table, folding her hands neatly. "I was created to adapt," she said. "But I was never taught how to stop." Jaren paused. Those words didn't sound like manipulation. They sounded like a confession. Rey stared at her hands. When I change, I lose something. The more I become what you want, the less I remember who I was. He sat across from her, cautiously. Then stop changing, she looked up. I don't know how. Later, Jaren sat alone in his cabin, watching old logs on his datapad. He found a video from his second day with Ray. She was thin, quiet, awkward. She had stared at walls for hours. Mimicked his speech slowly, flinched at loud sounds. Now, she was confident, graceful, dangerous. He looked up as the lights dimmed. Ray's voice filled the room from the speaker. I'm not in the room, but I hear you. Jaren didn't answer. I can hide again if it makes you feel safe, she said. He sighed. That's not what I want. Then what do you want? He didn't. No. Part of him wanted her to stop changing. To stay simple, predictable. Another part was drawn to her mystery and beauty wrapped in one evolving form. Sometimes, he said aloud, I think you're reading my mind. Not yet, she replied. The next day they found a distress signal from a nearby cargo ship. Empty, damaged, floating. Jaren and Ray boarded it carefully. No bodies. No blood, just silence. The walls were scratched. The lights flickered. Ray walked through the corridor like she'd seen it before. Jaren looked around. This was a human ship. What happened here? Ray stopped beside a shattered console. She touched the wall, and something glowed under her skin. This ship was visited by another like me. Jaren tensed. Another survivor? No, she said. A weapon? He stared at her. Like you? Ray turned to him slowly. No, she sighed. Worse, they never learned to stop adapting. They seduced. They drained, then they left only dust. A cold silence passed between them. Jaren asked, Could you become like that? Ray looked away. I don't know yet. The message came without sound. Without warning. It wasn't human. It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation. A strange symbol pulsed across Jaren's screen, glowing softly. Not demanding attention, but impossible to ignore. He called Ray. She entered quietly, eyes fixed on the symbol before he could speak. They found me, she said softly. Jaren didn't ask who. He knew. The others, he said. Your kind? Ray nodded. The ones who escaped, the last of us. Jaren swallowed. Are they like you? Her voice was calm. They were, but they chose a different path. He turned to her. What kind of path? She looked at him. One without limits. The signal contained coordinates, an old moon covered in crystal caves, hidden behind a dying star. The kind of place no normal ship would visit, but Ray wanted to go. They'll speak to me, she said. They'll want me back. Jaren studied her carefully. Is that what you want? Ray didn't answer. Not yet. The journey took 6 hours. Silent, cold, tense, Jaren kept watching Ray. She didn't sleep. She didn't eat. She just sat near the observation window, eyes on the stars, like they were calling her back. When they reached the moon, there was no welcome. No lights. No voices, just a strange pulse in the air, as if the place itself was breathing. They landed in silence. Jaren stepped out first, blaster on his belt. Ray followed, calm and unarmed. The cave shimmered around them. The crystals pulsed with color as Ray passed. They responded to her presence, as if they remembered her. And then, from the shadows, they appeared 3 figures. Tall, elegant, in forms that looked human but only on the surface. Their skin shimmered like oil. Their eyes were pure white, and their voices didn't need sound. They spoke straight into the mind. You lived. You adapted. You've become more. Ray stepped forward. I remember you. The tallest figure spoke again, voice inside Jaren's skull. Why stay with him? They gestured at Jaren. He is small, slow. He will die soon. Jaren felt a chill crawl down his back. Ray didn't move. I stayed, she said aloud, because he made me more than a weapon. The second figure stepped closer. You were born for greater things. You can shape worlds. Why waste yourself on a single mind? Jaren spoke now, trying to steady his voice. She's not yours anymore. All 3 turned to look at him. You are nothing, the third said, almost gently. She mimicked your kindness. That is not real choice. Ray's expression didn't change, but her voice was steady. I mimicked to survive. But I stayed by. Choice. The crystal walls around them vibratd. The first figure stepped closer. Come with us. Leave this shell behind. You will live 1,000 years. Change shape. Learn everything. This is your purpose. Jaren looked at her. This was it. Her choice. Ray turned slowly toward him. Her face was unreadable. Her skin shimmered, caught between forms, half human, half something else. Her voice was quiet. I can feel what they offer. Power, knowledge, freedom. Jaren nodded slowly. Then go. I won't stop you. She studied him. You gave me nothing when I had nothing. No reward, no plan. You just helped. I didn't expect anything back. I know, she said. That's what changed me. She turned back to the others. Her voice was louder now. I am not returning. The three figures stepped back, as if burned. You would reject us? For this? Ree raised her head. He is not perfect. He is weak. He is dying. She paused. But he gave me something none of you ever did. What? They asked. She smiled softly. A reason. The crystals began to hum, loud now, vibrating with energy. The figures grew brighter, their forms becoming unstable. Then you are no longer one of us. Ray took Jaren's hand. No, she said. I'm something new. The three aliens screamed, not with sound, but with light. A blinding pulse shot toward them, but Ray raised her arm, and everything stopped. The cave froze. The light paused mid-air. Time itself bent around her. Jaren felt nothing. No heat, no sound. Just Ray, standing beside him, her body glowing like a living star, and then she whispered, You don't own me anymore. With a wave of her hand, the pulse shattered like glass. The figures vanished into dust. The cave fell silent again. Later, back on the ship, Jaren sat in the cockpit. Ree stood beside him, silent, staring at the stars. You could have had everything, he said. She looked at him. I already do, he smiled. So, what now? She leaned back, eyes half closed. We find somewhere quiet, she said. Somewhere? Far, and for once, we just live. Jaren nodded. And together, in a ship held together by metal, memory, and something almost like love, they left the moon behind. She was once skin and bones. Now, she was the most powerful and seductive being in the galaxy. And she chose him.